Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Hazelburn 10, 46% ABV. Dustin, this is from your favorite distillery. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Hazelburn, comes from the Springbank distillery. They're unpeated.
Unpeated, triple distilled.
Triple distilled, so very clean.
Very clean. And you know, Mike, I've never been a big fan of this particular bottle historically. But I got to say, I picked this one up because honestly, I'm worried I may never be able to buy another bottle of Springbank again the way the world's going. And I picked it up with low expectations, thought, what the heck. But there was something about this one that made me say, you know what, we got to get a review on it.
And this one, this particular bottle, was this 2021 bottling, Dustin?
Yep, this was in the November of 2021, Mike. So
recent Hazelburn.
Just came out. And actually, I'm shocked it's already out in the U.S. Usually we got to wait a while. So
yeah, so again, Hazelburn, the third, obviously the least known from the Springbank line. Obviously, if you know Springbank, you know the Springbank normal malt. And then I think the Long Row is pretty recognizable staple.
I think the Red Series really kind of built that brand up.
Sure.
People are like, oh, yes, cast strength, finished stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the Hazelburn. So this is completely unpeated, but it is triple distilled as opposed to 2 times distilled with the Long Row or 2.5 times distilled with the Springbank.
There you go.
All right, Dustin, let's get in this one.
Should note, Mike, I'm pretty sure this is all refilled bourbon.
Good question.
As the color clearly indicates.
Well, we say that, but we know that this distillery always, puts everything in a clear bottle. We know it's natural color. We know it's unchill filtered, and we know it's 64%, which is both good and bad. Yeah. I prefer to think of 46% like a double-edged sword. It's going to cut both ways. It's good, but it ain't great.
This is true.
All right, to this whiskey. Youthful, but a nice lemony pledge.
I love the citrus note coming right in there, and it's just
very pleasant citrus.
Very nice citrus. Very I want to say kind of baked goods, but also kind of sawdust, outdoorsy, sort of glue putty kind of thing going on there from the malt.
Yeah, I kind of like where you're going with that one. A little bit of sawdust or wood shop, if you will.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite cedar, but a nice sandalwood being cut. I could see that. You said pastry note. I am getting a little bit of breadcrumb, a little bit of bread crust sort of smell to it.
It's kind of dried.
Yeah, a little bit of white Wonder Bread, dried bread crust.
I mean, the sweetness is not super high there, but there is a sweetness here, but it's maybe even more, trying to think here. There's a fruit sweetness here coming in for sure.
Oh, lemon lime, that is a fruit. But I agree with you, there's something a little bit more substantial in the background as far as the size of the fruit.
There's something else.
Maybe a light peach even.
Could be, and there's, I don't want to say salt, maybe, but I don't know, maybe there is a hint of saltiness, just a little bit of coastal element.
But they're very blunted, they're very nice, round. It's a drop from a 1-story building, which isn't far, and you get to land in one of the big blow-up cushion balloons anyway. Yeah,
you can tell there was a good cut on this one. The distillate's doing well.
Triple distilled, nice whiskey.
Yeah, I mean,
good 10-year-old whiskey. On the nose.
Yeah, and there's really not a lot extra here. I mean, I'm even now getting a hint of like a slight chocolate note.
Yeah, but I agree. There's that bready note. There's the citrus note, which is very predominant. A little bit of a coastal element to it, not much.
Yep, clean and citrus is really kind of what I would focus on here, with just a little bit of that breadiness.
Correct. I cannot overstate that word, clean. It smells very clean, very soft, very approachable. I mean, it does have a decent amount of heft on the nose, too. You can tell this isn't a thin whiskey. What do you think on the palate, buddy?
Oh, buddy. This is absolutely blowing my mind for a 10-year-old. So, up front, the sweetness is much higher. It's not really distinct. It's just sweet maltiness. You got the citrus. Then you're getting this nice oak, really nice oak. Now, it's not, again, a deep, dark, old oak, obviously. There's a nice oak, and it's kind of actually, to me, enhancing and bringing out like a different layer of citrus. Some saltiness is definitely coming in. Some coastal notes. I get a distinct transition when I swallow to where this nice finish kicks in. Now my whole mouth's just kind of coated with this really nice, kind of almost varnish, almost like lemon pledge cleaner, somewhere kind of between the two. And like the nicest way I can describe that, because I know some of those could be a little off-putting. And it's all put together by this just really thick, rich, creamy, just sweet malt. So you even had to go back for seconds on that one.
Let's get my thoughts. You're right. initially in the palate before you swallow, good texture. Again, good citrus, a little bit of that maltiness. You said maltiness, I completely agree with that. When you swallow, instantly, super tangy, sharp citrus.
Yeah.
Almost, I mean, some of it you think is alcohol driven really can be at 46% ABV. It just feels like you got a little bit of that sting in your eye when you're trying to, put some lemon on your tacos.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I mean, again, very mouth coating even on the finish. It does, for a 10-year-old, it really does have a bit of sophistication with kind of that grainy, malty characteristic, which is fairly impressive for a 10-year-old.
Depth, nuance, and again, transitions. And also, again, this is not heavy cask influence.
No, and I agree. And then something that I got on the finish, which I'm getting now, that you said I completely agree with. And you said there's a creaminess to it. There is. It's almost lemon meringue pie creaminess.
Yeah.
And on the finish, it kind of puts together all the little elements that were there before to kind of bring it into a lemon meringue pie. And this is what I mean by that. There is a bit of that crust note on the nose. The lemon was there on both parts of it. The stinging lemon, and then on the palate when you still had the whiskey in your mouth, that whole lemon.
Yeah.
Then a little bit of that maltiness. I'm telling you, the whole experience comes together on the finish. There's a little bit of lemon meringue pie. Nice little treat. Very good for a 10-year-old whiskey.
Yeah. Mike, this is very good this is a very good quality whiskey
Solid whiskey.
in general.
Solid whiskey.
Honestly, I mean, if this was a 15-year-old whiskey, I'd say it sits right there with pretty much, I mean, there's some legendary, like, upper echelon ones, but
Sure.
for your average thing on the shelf, I'm taking this over, like, the Macallan Double Oak.
Oh, for 12?
15?
Or even 15 for... Yeah, I mean, again, a little bit better ABV, different whiskeys than that. But yes, this comes off far more impressive than a lot of 10, 12, and some 15-year-old whiskeys. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And a good 46%.
I was going to say a little dollop of water, which, by the way, Mike, I brought a little... we've heard enough flack from you guys, so we decided to bring in a little pipette from...
Glencairn.
So... nothing too fancy. We didn't get like the Angel share, that $100 opportunity that's out there, just because, well, I don't want to spend $100.
You're going to call that an opportunity, are you? All right, that's fine. I still don't understand how we're going to do whatever afterwards. But
if you guys have any recommendations, I'm assuming since we're just putting water in it, there's not a lot of cleaning necessary.
There's not. What happened is there's not a lot of versatility to that straw. There's just a little.
It's just there for water.
On the side and the water. All right.
Run some additional water. Maybe do some soap and.
We can't get rid of the straws altogether, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to it with water. All right. So
just don't mix different waters with it, Mike.
Yes, that's it. That's the lesson.
I don't want those off flavors coming through.
That's the lesson.
Oh, the sweetness kicked right up here, man.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more lemon lime forward.
I was about to say the lime just jumped right out now all of a sudden. It wasn't there before. Because I was debating at one point maybe a slight hint of tangerine with the lemon. But now, I think lime is definitely kind of where it went. Yeah, a little bit of the saltiness kind of came out a little bit more citrusy. Yeah.
Well, 10-year-old whiskey, you figure I put a good wallop of water in there, so you figure it'd come out. I mean, you're getting the same experience. It keeps off a little bit richer and creamier on the palate with a little bit of water. And 46, you can add a little bit to it, so it definitely doesn't hurt it. And again, on the nose, if you want to bring more of that lime out, which I got initially, man, water will do that for you for sure.
Yeah, it brought out kind of like a sandy, dusty wood kind of note here a little bit more.
Not bad.
A little more bitterness. Prefer it neat.
Agreed.
I think this one, the nose may be slightly better, slightly more interesting, but the 46% I really just didn't need more water.
I agree. All right, so I'm ready to get the whiskey score on this one, my friend. I would like to go first, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely, buddy.
Okay, so I'm going to be an 87 out of 100 on this one. And this is why I'm going to give it an 87. There's some things that are kind of basic about it. You know, 10-year-old whiskey doesn't blow me away. And it's 46%. It's a good ABV, but doesn't blow me away. But I tell you what, it has some nice little pieces that were constructed, that come together. It's the most impressive part of this whiskey, which was the finish for me. And it came together in the finish really nice. It's almost like a good comedian setting up a joke and setting up a kind of something he was going to play off of later and then bring it all together and kind of crescendo at the very end. It's rare that you put it all together on the finish, but this is a good example of that.
Yep.
It's impressive enough that pumps me up to an 87. Could have gone 88, but I don't want to get carried away.
Yeah, I was actually getting ready to say, Mike, I'm going a little high here. Going 87.
Yeah.
You saw I laughed when you said that, because I was like, are you kidding me?
That's all right, I'm done.
I was like, I literally, as soon as you said that, I just started laughing. I was like, oh my God.
Right there. Perfect 87, though.
Yeah, no.
Gives you something.
And I'm in the same boat here. It's like, up front, the palate's very nice. Sweet, citrus. I've got a single cask Hazelburn about the same age, maybe it's a year older.
We'll bring you that.
That I've always kind of thought to myself, why is this thing so good? And the answer is the finish. But because the up front, really nice, but it's kind of like okay, you're a very clean,
couple
citrusy
couple
thing.
things.
But then it hits that finish where it transitions. The mouth feels so good. The richness, you're like, man, all right, nailed it.
Yeah, and you know what I like? It brings the same elements through all three facets of the experience. Like what you got on the nose was pretty much what you got on the palate. A little bit different. Other things stood out. And again, you got a couple new things. But again, bring it all together on the finish. It didn't happen by accident.
If you like Campbelltown, this is almost a must-try whiskey.
Good one.
And I gotta say, Mike, we've had 10 Hazelburns before. Not been as impressed. So
Yeah, this has probably been my favorite.
Really, I think they're figuring it out, or maybe I don't know. They found a batch of barrels and they said, "Geez."
Buddy, we know with this distillery, I don't care if it's the 15, the 18, the 21s, ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's a pie chart. But they're usually pretty good.
And this is nailing it.
Yep. Anyway, those are our thoughts on the whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try this one, I'd like to know what you guys think. And Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy choosing better graphs than Mike does. Pie chart? What was that? Happy drinking, guys.
See you guys then.